Why are Americans so fat? Or rather, why aren't you guys as fat? That is the question that this kind woman might answer. Smith Family Travels. Go check out the channel because we about to find out why are Americans fat? Or at least why Europeans are slimmer than North Americans. Oh, North Americans, dang, she's bringing Canadians, Mexicans into this. I don't know how fat Canadians are.
Hi everyone, this is Jackie from Smith Family Travels coming at you with another travel video. This time it's not a travel tip video, but kind of an observation of our travels. This time I'm going to talk about why I think the average European is slimmer than the average North American.
In other words, why the North Americans are fat. I'm skipping ahead.
Portugal and France, and we've noticed that the average North American is much bigger than the average European. We kind of knew that Europeans have supposedly much healthier lifestyle than the average North Americans, but it became really apparent
McDonald's isn't healthy
to us when we're actually traveling to these places. So I'm sure that there are many other scientific factors that might contribute to the reasons why, the average European.
It's definitely not because we eat McDonald's and just ride around in cars all day and never walk. That ain't it.
And looks healthier or slimmer than the average North American, but I'm just going to talk about our observances as we travel. One of the major things we notice is that they walk everywhere. They walk to school, they walk to work, they walk to church, they walk to the grocery store, to the cafes.
That alone that'll help a lot.
And we live in the suburbs in Canada, and so we don't do.
Oh, she actually is talking about like comparing it to Canadians. That's funny.
Do a lot of walking. We hop in the vehicle and we go grocery shopping and we go to work and we drive the kids to school. There's a lot less walking in, I would say, the average city in North America than the average city in Europe.
I mean, you think about it, it's just crazy. We have made these stupid cars. I mean, they're not stupid. They're just, the way that life is supposed to work is you eat the food and then you use that food to, move around, walk around, run around, do things. But we just eat the food and then go sit in a chair inside a car and of course we're going to be fat.
I remember when Patrick and I went to Paris by ourselves, so no kids, and we checked into the hotel. We asked the hotel clerk if we could walk to the Eiffel Tower from the hotel, and he said, sure. It's about a 10-minute walk, and we're like, okay, that's doable. So he gave us the directions to the Eiffel Tower. We're walking, and we're walking, and we're walking, and we don't see the Eiffel Tower.
Do you guys walk a little faster?
Tower in 10 minutes.
Than us?
Or 15 minutes. But we are following his directions. So, we stop somebody on the street, we ask, are we in the right direction to go to the Eiffel Tower? And they say, oh yes, just, it's just a 5-minute walk. And then, they just assured us that we're on the right path. And sure enough, it took us maybe 25 minutes to get to the Eiffel Tower. Now, we're pretty quick walkers, we're not slow walkers, and we didn't have the.
I'm very curious where this is going. Because how did Europeans walk twice as fast?
With us to slow us down or anything, and we didn't get lost. But the 10-minute walk turned into a 20 to 25-minute walk. And we've had this happen to us in other cities as well, where, you ask somebody where the Louvre is, and they're like, oh, it's just 15-minute walk. And it turns into a half-an-hour walk. So my advice to you is if you're visiting a European city and anyone tells you that it's a 5, 10, 15-minute walk, just double that time. Because their 10-minute walk is not our 10-minute walk. That's based on our experience. Walking is...
What? Is that just what they tell themselves to make it seem faster?
Such a part of their lifestyle that they can't seem to imagine why you would take a bus or take a car when you can just walk easily somewhere. So last year we were in Florence, and we had seen all the beautiful basilicas and duomos, and we were ready to go home. So I went into a store and I asked one of the employees there where the nearest bus stop was. So he asked me where our Airbnb apartment was. So I told him around, which area it is. And he said, oh, it's just a 10-minute walk. And he goes, it's easy to get to. And I said, no, we want to take the bus. Can you tell me where the bus stop is? And he looked at me like I had two heads. And he refused to tell me where the bus stop was. So I finally had to say, I have a 6-year-old, he's really tired, and we're traveling with my mother-in-law, and her knees are bothering her. And he's like, okay. The bus stop is, and then he directed us to the bus. So I walk out of the store, and I'm dying with laughter, and I say to Patrick, can you believe the guy refused to tell me where the bus stop was because he wanted us to walk? And he must have thought, these lazy North Americans, they can't.
That's for sure what they all think. I already know. That's why I would love to go to Europe, but I just know, I'm going to know what everybody's thinking about me.
I walked 10 minutes and I knew it wasn't
I'm going to try to be the most non-American tourist possible.
going to be a 10-minute walk. I knew it was going to be a 20-minute walk because we took the bus there, and I knew that was not a 2-minute bus ride, so it certainly couldn't be a 10-minute walk. And another thing we observe is their small meals. Their meals are small. Every single meal is
That's the other side of the equation.
small. So I remember the first time we were in Rome, and it was just Patrick and me, and we stayed in a hotel with free breakfast. So I was like, okay, we're going to save some money. We can have the free breakfast. Well, a European-sized breakfast is very different from an American or Canadian size.
What is that? The appetizer? What even is that? A piece of bread? Free breakfast? You get a slice of bread?
Breakfast. You're not getting bacon, eggs, and toast, and waffles, and all.
In pretty much any American hotel, if you get a free breakfast, it's a buffet. So you get as much as you damn well please. Which is probably good. That would be fun if you're a tourist here. But it's definitely not healthy if you live here.
All that stuff. You're getting pastry and coffee. You might be able to get 2 pastries and coffee. And
Honestly, I don't even eat breakfast, so maybe that's why I'm not one of the fat Americans.
And that is their breakfast. So I was quite surprised about that. But, it kept me full for a few hours, and that was fine. And I also noticed, the portion sizes when you're in restaurants are very small. If you're getting spaghetti in Rome, you're not getting a huge plate. You're getting a small plate. And
Wow. Yeah, that is very small. It makes it a lot more fancy. Like here in America, if you get a portion that small, that means you're eating somewhere real fancy. I don't like going to those places.
it actually fills you.
The bread looks quite nice, though. That's a good amount of bread.
But it's not a North American size portion. And I think also they linger when they eat. They sit down in a restaurant. They sit there for a couple of hours.
Right, which is weird because they're not eating that much. How do we eat more in less time?
They enjoy the food and they enjoy the company that they're with.
Americans are just scarfing it down.
I've heard that if you eat slowly, you'll get the message that you're full as opposed to eating quickly and eating too much and then feeling bloated.
I definitely don't live by that, but I've heard it. I just eat everything in front of me as fast as I can. I don't talk between bites. It's like a challenge. Once you pick up the fork, you don't put it down until it's done.
So take your time, relax.
Or the sandwich, you pick it up. There's no putting it back down. It's just gone.
And they eat dinner much later than what we're used to. So I would say breakfast and lunch are usually about the same time as what we're used to. Sometimes lunch is much later than what we're used to. Breakfast is pretty much the same, but dinner.
Well, breakfast, I guess that makes sense. Because it's like, when else would you eat breakfast except for when you wake up?
8, 9 o'clock, I would say, is the average dinner time in many European cities. And, we eat dinner between 6 and 6:30 at home. But then I have a bedtime snack.
A lot of people eat dinner at 5:30.
Around at say 9:30, 10. So I'm really eating 4 meals a day. I notice that when we're in Europe and we're eating dinner 7, 8 o'clock at night, I definitely don't have a bedtime snack because I'm
That's actually a good idea. That makes sense. It's like it's a way of like moving your hunger. A lot of people don't like to go to bed hungry, you know. So instead, you are hungrier between lunch and dinner. But at least when dinner's coming up, you know, you're hungry, but you're like, okay, dinner's coming up, dinner's coming up, dinner's coming up. That makes sense. Push back dinner. That could be like the easiest way to maybe lose some weight. Just push back dinner. That way you're not snacking at night.
way too full. I've eaten my dinner much later, and so I'm actually eating less when I travel in Europe. I know I should try it at home, but I haven't done that yet because I really like my bedtime snack.
Well, she's not fat.
This was just a quick video on why we think Europeans are a little slimmer than the average North American. If you have any comments, questions.
That's funny. That's a good tip about when a European tells you how far it is to walk, just double it. They're just making that up. they're just saying that to make you walk. Have a fantastic day. I hope to see you here again tomorrow. Subscribe if you want to. Either way. Thank you and goodbye. I don't know what I'm doing.